So 10 months ago I made an enemy randomizer for Halo CE. Then MCC got some patches and the tool stopped working, and the code was a bit spaghetti so I didn't want to fix it. But a few months ago I thought, fuck it, let's just remake the whole tool from scratch and we'll make it not suck this time. And also add a few extra features while I'm at it. Let's get into it. So the enemy randomizer randomizes enemies. The old version of the tool did basically only this, but the new version is more customizable. You can choose what you want to get randomized and what they should get turned into. So if you want to play against only hunters, you can do that. Or if you only want to turn flood into other stuff, you can do that too. There's now also an enemy multiplier. If you want to play the vanilla campaign but with double or even triple enemies, you can do that. You can of course combine this with a randomizer for even more insanity. There's also a texture randomizer now. Yeah, this makes the game look pretty ugly, but I think it's funny. And a sound randomizer too, because why not? I don't know why you'd use this, but you can. And of course all of this works in custom campaigns and in cooperative play. So you want to play CE randomized? Here's how to set it up. Visit the releases page, link in the description, and download the latest version of Seer. Extract the zip file anywhere and just run the exe. That's it. But not really. There's an optional but highly recommended step, which is downloading the recompiled map files. These files overcome a limitation of the vanilla map files by adding enemy data for all enemies to every level. Without this, Seer can only randomize into enemies that normally show up in a level. So on Pillar of Autumn, for example, you won't get jackals or flood or hunters unless you grab these recompiled map files. Just subscribe to the workshop link in the description to install them. Launch MCC with mods enabled and select CE campaign. You should see an option for Seer recompiled maps. Launch Seer.exe if you haven't already. This fancy GUI will show up if everything's working fine. Now the GUI is divided into 5 different sections. Up here you can set the seed. The seed determines the outcome of randomization. You can kind of think of it like a Minecraft world seed. You could leave it empty and a random one will be generated for you, or type one in to get the same generation every time. The enemy randomizer allows you to select enemy types to be randomized and what they get turned into. Rules at the top of the list take priority if multiple rules affect the same enemies. Now the enemy multiplier is basically the same deal. Due to engine limitations though, setting the multiplier too high might cause the game to crash. I've tested up to 3 times without it crashing, but any higher end's a bit iffy. The difference between the pre and post randomization rules is to do with, well, it only applies if you have randomization enabled. Here's a little chart explaining it. Now the texture randomizer doesn't have a rule system, just a few checkboxes. It's worth noting that pretty much everything in the GUI here has a tooltip in case you're not sure what anything does. The setting you'll most want to mess with here is the randomization percent, since 100% can be a bit overwhelming. It's a similar deal with the sound randomizer, hopefully self-explanatory. A few more things. Most options here you can flick on or off during gameplay just fine, but I'd say that usually you want to decide what you want while you're still in the main menu. For cooperative play, to avoid desync, both players have to use the same version of the tool and play on the same map types, either vanilla or recompiled. And you need to use identical settings with a set seed. Don't leave it empty. Unlike solo play, you definitely can't adjust settings mid-gameplay, so make sure you got it all set up in the main menu lobby before you load into a level. To help make sure you have the same settings, a neat little copy and paste feature at the top here. Finally, if you run into any issues, if the program doesn't work or it crashes, you should find a Seer logging file in your Seer folder. And if it actually crashed, then you should hopefully also get a crash dump file. So you want to send those to me, Burnt Caruso on Discord. You can find me on the Halo Runs Discord, and hopefully I'll be able to fix it up. One last thing, if Seer's not starting up for you at all, try switching your MCC from full screen to borderless. That might fix it. So I think I'm done with the randomizer, and no, I don't plan to make a randomizer for the other Halo games. In fact, I think Helix made one for Halo 2 already, and Zero made one for Halo 3. I'm not sure if they're still updated though. You'll have to hop on the Halo Runs Discord and ask them. But next things next, I think I'm going to do some more work on the Halo Checkpoint Manager, which is less a fun tool and more just a useful tool for speedrunners and trick jumpers and so on. Mainly I want to focus on just fixing up the code behind the scenes in that program, because it's still a bit messier than I'd like. As far as new features, I'm hoping to fix up a couple crashes, make the overlay work for everyone, and maybe even add a trigger overlay. That'd be cool. bull practice mode for CE, that can come back, and maybe a few extra things. If you're not a nerd, you can tune out now. So I learned a damn lot about C++ while making this. Hell, 10 months ago I didn't even know the first thing about the language, hence why the old version of the randomizer was the cheat engine Lewis script spaghetti mess. Now I have some code I'm mostly proud of. This project makes heavy use of the amazing safety hook by Kersey. You can think of it as like Microsoft Detours, but if it didn't suck. I made a module hook wrapper for it to work it in with some code that I borrowed from Scales that handles hooked modules getting dynamically unloaded and reloaded. So huge thanks to Kersey and Scales, this project would not be possible without them. I was going to talk more about some parts of the code I do and don't like, but kinda can't be fucked. Long story short, I'm planning to straight up just copy paste a lot of the work I've done here and use it in the Halo checkpoint manager. While some of it I'll have to give it a little bit of a touch up, I think most of it is actually pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. Anyway, that's all I got today. I hope you guys enjoy the tool and hopefully it actually bloody works for you. Like I said, let me know on Discord if it isn't, so I'll give it a touch up this time because the code's a lot easier to work with now. Hopefully be able to keep it up to date a lot easier. Alright, anyway, I'll catch you guys later.